This video is one of a three-part series showing you the principles and techniques I use to make a visually engaging and effective flyer that's also print ready. This video shows you how to design a flyer in Illustrator. If you want to skip to how to design the flyer in Photoshop, or just a general overview for setting up for print or best design practice, please use the available links here or listed below. To create the flyer in Illustrator, go to File, New, and I want an A5 page, and I haven't got a preset here, so I'm just going to fill in the dimensions here. Width is 148mm and height is 210, and we've got portrait orientation. We only want one artboard because I'm doing a one-sided flyer, and I've got the bleed set automatically there to 3mm, and you're going to make sure you're wanting CMYK for your colour mode and 300 ppi, and create. So there's our bleed line shown in red there, and our design must carry to there so that when it's trimmed off we're not getting a white edge. So the next stage is to add all the elements for the design. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to add every element for this flyer on this artboard so we can see what we're working with. So I'm going to go to File, Place, and I'll navigate to my folder that's got my images, and I'll just start placing them in. You can place in multiples by holding Command and selecting all the images you want. I'm going to put these in for now, so place. And it wants you to click for everything you're placing in. Okay, so we've got a cat. And by the way, this is why I love Illustrator so much. It's so much quicker, and you get to see all your elements that need to go on the page all at once, and it kind of helps you visualize things a lot quicker. I'm going to go ahead and get everything else in here now, and I'll come back once I've done that. I just want to show you this actually. The logo for this job is an EPS file. Now if I was to place an EPS file, it imports it in a way that's not very editable. So the best way to get an EPS file in there is if you go to Open, find the file, and actually copy and paste from here. So I've copied that, close it, and paste it in. That's the best way to get your EPS in, and I did that for these two things as well. Next up, I want to add the text to this flyer. So I've copied the text I want from another document, and I'm just going to select my text tool and then drag out a box and paste it in. And if I just zoom in a bit, Command plus, you can see that I've got a bit of a headline here. There's an offer that's going on there as well, some small type, so we'll arrange that as well shortly. The next thing I want to work out is what colours I want to use. So I'm going to use the pink and the blue from the logo, and actually I'm going to add those to my swatches here. So if I get my direct selection tool and select the different parts of the logo, I can literally just drag the colours down into my swatches here. And for this text, I'm just going to have to select a piece of that pink text to bring the colour up, and I'm going to drag that down as well. And I think I'm going to add a third colour, and I'm going to pick out because this cat image is a dominant image, going to be a dominant image in the flyer, I'm just going to pick out a kind of this grey blue from its eyes that go so well with the colours in the logo. Just going to zoom in a bit. Yeah, I think that one looks good. Maybe a bit stronger. That's a good one. And I'm going to add that. So now I've got all the ingredients for my flyer. I'm just going to create a guide. So I want to create a border where I don't want my text to carry over. So I'm just going to zoom in, and I'm going to just make sure I've got my smart guide selected, and I'm going to draw a rectangle the same size as my canvas, and the smart guide just help your rectangle click to the edges of the canvas. And if I go into transform, what you can do, I want a centimetre gap around every edge So that's the size of my rectangle at the moment, and I want to take off 20 mils. So you can literally write in -20 and it will change it. And you want to make sure you're changing the size of it from the center of the shape. So just make sure you've got this this dot in the center. And I'm going to do the same for the height, -20, and that's going to be the shape where I want to kind of contain the text of my design. So to turn that into a guide, I'm going to right click or control click, come down and select make guides. Next up, I'm going to just start placing the elements into the flyer. So I'm going to get the cat, as that's going to be the main image. And by the way, I've created this transparent background for the cat using layer masks in Photoshop, and we've got a tutorial for that, which I will link to here and below. So I'm just going to grab this with my cursor, grab the corner here, and pressing shift so it scales proportionately. I'm just going to place that around there, and at the moment I'm just going to be quite rough about it. I'm going to have these two images flanking the cat, and this one I'm going to focus on this man and the dog. Now, because I want the cat to be the main focus of this design, I need to knock these two images back a little bit. This one I'm going to do with transparency. So I'm going to just lower the transparency on that, probably to about that. Again, I will fiddle with that later if I need to. At the moment I'm just trying to gauge what's going to work. Okay, and obviously I want to get rid of these harsh lines, so I kind of want to feather these out really. And the best way to do that in Illustrator is by using the mask facility in this transparency window. So if I'm going to draw a shape over the top to match it, and again my smart guides are just snapping that to the edge of that image. Now if I change this to a gradient, a straightforward gradient, I'll just show you what happens. So I'm going to select by using my selection tool, and I'm going to click away from these objects, and then I'm going to drag a cursor across, and it selects the image behind and this image in front. And if I click make mask, you'll see that it's faded out some of this edge. I'm still seeing a bit of this edge at the top. And what you can do, so when I select that now, it's showing me the thumbnail with the mask and the thumbnail of the original image. Now if you click between the two, it will mean you can edit each one in turn. So for this mask one, I actually want to try using this new gradient tool in Illustrator, the freeform gradient. So if I click that, I can actually edit this mask, and you can see it's sort of gone to a default. And this works similar to masks in Photoshop, where whatever is white will be the thing that shows up in your mask. So if I change this to white and place it over the man and the dog that I want to see, and if I change these ones to black, so I'm literally clicking on these points of the gradient, and it'll bring up the colour, and I'll change that to black. And same with these ones, that's quite a dark colour anyway, but I want it to be a definite black. And we've got this point here as well, and I'm going to change that to black. It doesn't matter so much about this side of things because it's off the canvas, but I think it probably wouldn't hurt to add one more point here, just in case I've got a bit of this image creeping in. I probably want to get rid of this section of the image. So if you look at my cursor now, I've got a little, it's automatically got a plus point on it. So if I click, it creates another point, and I'll drag that in a little bit there. You can see what it's doing to the image. And I'll maybe just push this white up, so I've definitely, you see it strengthens the guy and the dog. I'm just going to put my click my selection tool and deselect that. So that's looking quite good, I think. I think actually we'll probably go a little bit larger with him as well. Now what I did just there, I've still got my mask selected. That's a common mistake and one I do all the time. So you have to make sure you click back onto the image, and then that will allow me to change the scale. And what that does, it changes the scale. You can see it's linked. It changes the scale and the mask as one. Okay, so yeah, I think that chap's going to end up about there. It's a bit smaller. I'll fiddle with that later. And for this image, I want this one to appear in a roundel. So the way to do that is just go to our shape tool, and I'm going to, if I hold down the cursor, it brings down this drop down menu, and I'm going to go to the ellipse tool, and I'm going to drag a circle here. So click and hold, and it will make any shape ellipse you want until you press shift, and then it will make a perfect circle. And I'm just, at the moment we haven't got any fill on that, so I'm just going to make that a fill so you can see a solid circle. And now I want to mask this image, so I've got so this is the opposite of Photoshop. If you were doing a clipping mask, you've got your shape above your image, and what I'm going to do, by pressing shift, I'm going to select the image as well, and I've got the circle and image selected, and then I'm going to go up to object, and if you come down to clipping mask and go to make, and you can see the shortcut there is Command 7, and that's actually done quite a nice crop on that. And the one thing I want to do there is just move this roundel back behind the cat. So I'm going to select that, go to object, arrange, and go to center back. Okay, I'm going to fiddle with the positions of those a little bit later, but the next stage is to start getting the text in. So with my selection tool, I'm going to just grab this text box and move it up here, and I'm going to enlarge the text a little bit. I can do it like this. In fact, that's fine. There's another shortcut. If I was to select all the text with the type tool and Command A, you can use a shortcut which is Command Shift, either comma to make it smaller or full stop to make it larger. I use that one all the time, really. It's quite quick. So our headline, join smart plan, I'm going to copy that, and then by pressing Command, I'm going to change my type tool into my selection tool and just click off that type box, and then it goes back to the type tool again, and I can click and paste that copy, and I'm going to scale that up. Again, I'm not going to get too fussy just yet. I'm going to sort of place things where they need to be, and then we can fine tune stuff later. Clearly this logo is going to need to go a bit smaller, and I'm going to have that right up against our guide, our margin. Move that up a bit, and then we've got a sort of rest of the heading here. You get the idea. I'm going to go ahead and just put the rest of the text in, and I'll come back in a minute. So the text has gone in. I haven't designed it in terms of the typeface or the colours, but I just wanted to get an idea of the size and the hierarchy. So we've got the headline, call to action, and this offer here, which are the main things. And now I just want to throw in some containers for some of this information. So I want a rectangle that sits at the bottom here to contain all this text and for the pause to hang over. So let's do that first. We go to shape, hold down till we get to the rectangle tool, and I'm going to snap all the way over to our bleed line, and using the smart guides to snap to the other side, and I'm going to change that to the pink, and I'm just going back to my selection tool. I'm going to select the rectangle and this image here, and I'm going to move those to the back. So object, arrange, center back, and I'm going to come in and fine tune all this stuff later on where the cat's resting. And I'm going to want another roundel behind this offer here. So back to the shape tool, ellipse, hold down shift, and just drag out a circle which is going to be roughly that size and shape. And this one I'm going to make the same blue as the cat's eyes that we colour picked earlier. And I'm going to move that to the side, and I'm just going to select all this text, and I'm going to move the text to the front. So object, arrange, bring to front, and I'll just position that circle in behind. Obviously this is all very rough at the moment, but I think we've got the makings of the layout we want here. I'm just going to think this is the final resting place. Sorry, I didn't have the circle selected there. I think this will eventually sit somewhere like this to sort of kind of encroach on this space. And I want to make sure my text doesn't go over the edge, and obviously I need to align all this. You'll notice up till now I've been pretty rough with the design, but until you get to this stage where you know the layout's going to work, I've got some nice shapes going on here. I like this kind of the line here and the sort of curve going through this area, and the space for all the messages to appear and be read easily. So once I'm at this stage and happy, now's the time to go in and fine tune. There's no point doing it before. So I'm going to start with the headline text and bringing up our character window here. I'm going to match all the text up to the font that's in the logo. I know that's Montserrat, and I'm going to use various widths. I'm going to use various weights of Montserrat and colours, just to add differentiation between the different messages and to bring emphasis to certain points. So if I start typing in, I select the text. In fact, I'm going to select all the text because I know it's all going to be some form of Montserrat. So I'm just pressing Shift, selecting all the text I've got. And if I go here and start typing in Montserrat, there you go, and I'll just go for regular at the moment. That's just going to make life a bit quicker later on. And then for the headline, we can go in and start changing the weights. So I'll probably go for a bold or even bolder, perhaps. Black for the headline, and black's the weight of the font, by the way. The colour itself I want to be this dark blue that we colour picked earlier, so I've got that selected. I'm just going to hit that swatch there, and let's change that to the dark blue. And I'm going to carry on now, and I'm just going to work my way through the text, changing it to different weights and colours, and I'll be back in a moment. So I've been through and I've just changed the weight of these fonts and the colours, just really to make it look as interesting as possible and break it up for the eye as much as possible, and also direct the viewer into the messages you want the most. So headline we want to go to first, and then equally I guess we've got the offer that comes with this flyer, and we've got the call to action here. I'll just hide these guides so we can just stand back and have a good look at this. You can hide the guides by pressing Command and colon. There you go. And we're getting pretty close. I think we're just getting down to the finer details now. So I'm going to just put the guides back on while we finish up. And I want to zoom in, so Command plus to zoom in, and use the space bar to use this hand tool and move yourself about. And I just want to make sure these three bodies of text are aligned to the left up against our margin. So pressing Shift, I'm going to select all three of those, go to the align, and I'm going to align them to the left. Now you get some options here. You're either going to align them to the artboard, which would take the text all the way over to here. I want to align them to a selection, so you click on this one here and align to the left, and they'll all come to a good place. Right, so let's just have a look. I think the positioning of this might need tweaking slightly. Sometimes text in a circle, you're better off doing it by eye. I'm just going to turn my smart guards off so it doesn't snap to certain positions. I'll get complete freedom. Just going to click off that to see. Now I think that looks pretty central. Yeah, sometimes if you align that perfectly, it will look odd, just because you get these kind of different spaces around. So it's best sometimes to go just by eye. And I think I just want this to stand out a bit more, even more, the offer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a drop shadow to that to make it kind of stand out a bit more. So I'll go to Effect, Stylize and Drop Shadow, and it's showing us a preview there. I don't mind that, but I think for this kind of branding I'm going to go for a non-blurred shadow. It's probably something like that, but I want to knock it back maybe to 50%. And for the mode, it's always, I think drop shadows always look best with multiply, because it takes on some of the colour of behind the shadow. If you just do normal, sometimes it looks a bit grey. So yeah, multiply. I'm going to go a bit lower actually. Let's go 40%. I don't want it to be that dark. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm going to click OK. Oh, by the way, if you wanted to change the colour of your shadow, you can click here and you can go there. You can even go into your colour swatches, but I'm not going to do that for this one. Click OK. And I think to further emphasise that that's an offer, I'm just going to add a dashed line to the outline to kind of give the impression of it being a kind of coupon. So I'm going to select the outline and make it white. I'm just going to zoom in so we can see what we're looking at. Go to your stroke window and then dash line. Actually, that looks pretty good as it is. Maybe a bit bolder. No, I think I like that. Okay. You can change the gap between each dash and the size of the dash, but I'm quite happy with that. Okay. I'm just going to make sure all this stuff's aligned centrally. So align to artboard and central, that is already, and the logo. Ah, the logo wasn't central. Okay. I thought something didn't look right up there. And also I just want to make sure this cat, yeah, I just want to move this rectangle down a little bit to line perfectly with this cat's arm. That's good. And I think the last thing, that's there really, but the last thing I want to do, this kind of where the cat's cut out, I think just looks a little bit harsh, looks a little bit cut out, so I just want to add a little bit of shadow there, so it, sort of the cat is really part of the design. The way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to grab a pen tool. We've done a tutorial for how to use a pen tool in Illustrator, which you can link to here, or we'll link it below. And I'm literally going to draw a shape that I'm going to apply a shadow to this shape. There's numerous ways you could do this, but this is as good a way as any, I would say. So I'm going to create a shape and I'm going to add a shadow to that. Effect, Stylize, Drop Shadow, and for this one I do want a blurry shadow because I want it to look quite realistic. I think something like that's probably going to look quite good. Maybe just, yeah, okay, and now obviously I've got to move this back behind the pause. So the way I'm going to do that is Object, Arrange, Send Backwards. Now you can see the shortcut here, that's what I'm going to use next, is Command square bracket. So I'm going to do it once and basically I'm going to keep pressing it until it disappears behind the pause. There we go. Might just, I'm going to lock that cat now. I'm just going to press Command 2 and that will lock it. It means I can just select my shadow. I just want to see what it looks like if I move it around a little bit. Yeah, I think that's fine. Fine details. Anyway, yeah, I think that just kind of, oh hang on, I've just noticed something. No, it's fine. It's alright, I thought there was a white line there, but it was only in the preview and I kind of zoomed out. See that white line? But it is fine. Okay, anyway, I'm going to take my guide off so we can see it. So there you go, that's a completed flyer. Always worth doing a spell check. So I believe that's in Edit in Illustrator. Yes, spelling, check spelling. I've done it already, I know it's fine. And I'm going to save the AI file. And I've just realised I've not saved that yet. I've said about saving it, but I haven't actually saved it. So this is cat flyer. I got away with that one. Okay, so it's always important to save your AI file. That's if you need to go back and make changes. This is where you're going to go and do that. But once you've signed it off and you're ready to go to print, you go to File, Save As, and save it as a PDF. So it's one I saved earlier there. So I'll call this cat flyer 2. And go to high quality print, and because we're in Illustrator, we can add the trim marks. So go to marks and bleed, add the trim marks and use document bleed settings and save PDF. And I'll open up that PDF now and we'll have a look at that. I've opened up the PDF now in Acrobat just to have a look, and it's always worth doing that actually, by the way. And then you can see you've got the trim marks and you can see where it's going to cut the bleed off, which is what we want. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's a nicely set up print job. Hope that's been helpful. Don't forget to check out the other 2 videos in the series, and we'll see you for the next one.